Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to go over to my mother-in-law's house and just build us an ornamental curb appeal garden. We're going to plant some hostas and some begonias. This garden will be mostly geared toward a shady garden bed and a sun to partly shaded. So I'll see you guys at my mother-in-law's. Okay guys, so we are here and I am just showing you how we've broke up the big part to shade a garden and broke up the dirt that was there and amended it, and we've got it flattened out and as even as we can get it. And then the next thing, basically all we did was lay some weed cover over so we can try to help with keeping weeds coming back through. And she got some garden stakes to hold the black tarp down, and these are the ones she used, which were the fabric pegs, and they work pretty good. And so she's just pulling it tight to keep it as tight as she can. And yeah, so that's a good overlook of it. Here's another overlook. Show you, just we probably used about 2 bags of those fabric pegs just to in this big old section. All right, and so next you just want to go ahead and add your soils and peat moss and perlite and whatever you're going to use as your soil to cover the bed. We started out with a half a bag of peat moss, and my husband just broke it up and got the chunks out and spread it out as much as he could. And then we ended up using another full bag of peat moss and I think about 6 bags of soil we used in this section. So here I am laying the second bag of peat moss, and all we're basically going to do is take a rake or whatever tools you may have and spread it out evenly. But we have a beautiful puppy ice in the way. If you ever need a puppy, head over to 405 underscore blue merles underscore, I believe that's it, 405 blue merles on Instagram, and hit them up. They can give you a beautiful puppy. But yes, as you can see, back to the main topic, we are just getting it straight. That's pretty much all she's doing, is getting it even. And before we lay some regular Miracle-Gro soil down, and pretty much you just want to break up big chunks. And after you get it all straightened out, one thing about peat moss is it's kind of hydrophobic. It really does not take water well, but you just keep watering it and it'll go ahead and soak over. But yeah, it does help though with the soil cost, meaning that big bag is like $8. And yeah, so here I am just trying to add some water to it to help go ahead and get it moist and get some moisture. So once we start planting, we don't have dry pockets, because one thing with peat moss, you don't want to have dry pockets, because that is the hardest thing to fix and get it back broken up. So yeah, she's just still getting it flattened out. All right, guys. So she's got it all straightened out now. Now we're giving the puppy a water bath. No, just kidding. Okay. We are just, like I said, soaking the peat moss, getting it a good soaking. We're going to water everything through and make sure we have no dry pockets, and so that way when it's time for planting, the soil is moist, and when we water the plants in, we'll know that everything is good and watered and good to go. So yeah, that's all that's here. All right, guys, so here's the Miracle Go garden soil. We use the 1 cubic unit square foot bags, about 6 of them, I believe it was. But yeah, that's all we added here, and we're gonna do the same thing we did with the peat moss. Get it all laid out there, get it all even and flat, and water it through. All right, here is the more shadier garden, the smaller bed. Everything we did in the big bed, we did the same thing over here. We broke up the ground soil, dirt, then we put the black tarp, then we put peat moss, and then we put soil. So I'm just showing you a finished look of both beds before we start planting. Um, so yeah, here's how it's looking. And then you just want to place your plants and get a kind of visual of where you want them. Um, and that's basically what we did here. Just showing you that. Um, we also put a border around the garden, of course, and we use these brick pavers, the white ones. They're 48 cents each at Home Depot, and we used about 48 of them to border the whole big bed. We did not use it on the smaller bed because it was deeper, but this one provides us a box to keep our soil from running out and running over. So yeah, and you just kind of want to dig a little dip so you can put the bricks in. And here I'm just showing you the different varieties up close and how and which ones we used. So yeah, we're almost to the planting part, guys. Awesome. All right, guys, we're coming down to the last of building the bed. We're going to add in just some compost, just to help with keeping the hostas, whatever you're going to call them, fed. And compost is just like a natural fertilizer. It's easy to use. I like to place mine on top, so that way as you water, it slowly goes through down to those roots and gives it like a little sweet treat every now and again. So yeah, that's what we're going to do here, is just add in topsoil. And here we're just placing plants where they're going to go. Those are going in that bed, but not there. And here we're going to go ahead and plant the begonias. As you can see here, part of this garden has sun and part is still very shaded. So that alone lets you know how shady this area is. The sun had moved around, so now it's over there, but majority of the day that we were there, this area was mostly shade. And here's the culprit, the garden culprit. You guys, he loves playing in the dirt. So I think he's going to be my garden baby. He's going to love, when he gets older, coming out to the gardens with his mama and watering and planting and just enjoying it. He loves it, but he has to move. Okay. But yes, I'm just going to dig a hole. And one thing you want to do when you take something out of a pot is pretty much keep it, the plant at the same level it was in the planter pot that it was in. So that's basically all I'm going to do throughout this process. All right, and here's the finished look of the more shadier to part sunbed. And here I'm placing the hostas into the ground and getting everything in their final ground. You just want to loosen up the root ball just a little bit. Don't give it too much of a shock, but just a little bit to let it know that it can grow some more. It has space to grow. So just get you a big enough hole and put that plant in there, and remember to keep it at the same level that it was in its planter. Just size the pot, take it out of there. Don't forget to squeeze the roots and loosen them up a little bit. Of course, you want to get it into the ground too, so you will have to cut through or rip, like I did, the black stuff just to get to the ground. But you can, once you do get it open and put the plant in, you just want to kind of put it back around the top of the plant just to keep it from um, keep the weeds from coming back in. So yeah, the shovel takes too long, you guys. Get in there like a doggy and just use your hands. Get in tune with it. That's what I like to do. See? All right, guys. Keep watching and enjoy. All right, guys, we're coming down to the end. Water it all in. You always want to water your plants in, get them roots established to their new place, get them acclimated. And then after this process, it's mulch time. It is mulch time. So, yes, Get it nice, good, soaking wet, and that's it, guys. All right, so we got it all watered. Now we're throwing down mulch. This helps retain moisture. You do not have to use mulch. There's different types of mulch, different color mulches. You can use rocks, pebbles, lava rocks, rubber mulch, just whatever suits you. Here we use regular wood chip mulch, the black and the tan, just to give it a little extra curb appeal to it.
So we
Yeah.
planted two Dream Queens, a Nico, Hosta, and one of them, I'm not sure of the name. And we planted some blanket flowers, which the blanket flowers need sun, but that big area, it gets a lot of sun, but it also gets a lot of shade as well. Um, and then in a smaller bed, we planted two different types of begonias, um, which they need shade. And especially the ones with that shiny, pretty petal, the greenery leaf with the purple on it. That one for sure needs to be in shade to keep the color nice and cute and the shiny, waxy look on the leaves. But yeah, that garden had me tired, but it was worth it and it was fun to build. Um, and yeah, Hostas. So the big bed is a perennial bed, pretty much everything we planted there. Oh, and the three lily bees are all perennials. They'll come back. And that's exactly what she wanted, perennials, so she doesn't have to worry about coming back out there. The only thing you would have to do the following year, if you do perennials, is just amend it, add some fertilizer just to start feeding the plants again throughout their growing season. And then in a smaller bed, of course, it's annuals, so she will have to pull those up probably toward the end of the summer into fall and just get some fall to winter plants. But other than that, she'll have to redo those plants yearly. But I mean, it's a small area and it's still fun to work out in the garden bed, whether you're doing fruits, vegetables, flowers, cut flower garden. It's all just fun and get you outdoors and get you some of that good sun, some of that good vitamin D. Yes. All right, guys, so let's get into this hosta or hosta, however you want to say it, but we're not going to be technical over here. Care for these plants. So basically, on soil, you want to keep your soil moist, not soaking. A well draining soil is perfect, but of course, we just use regular Miracle-Gro garden soil because that is pretty cheap. Okay. And it really holds well as well. It's not just horribly, but Miracle-Gro I'm real iffy on anyway. I most definitely don't use it with my fruits and vegetables. Okay. So yes, you want to keep your soil moist, not soaking. You want to water them as needed. You don't want to water them all the time. But to cut down on watering, go ahead and lay the mulch around your plants as we did, so that way it can retain the moisture and keep it wet longer versus having to water, especially during the hot summer days here in Oklahoma. As far as sun goes, of course, we told you that these are sun to part shade plants, but a good rule of thumb would be lighter the foliage, brighter the sun. Darker the foliage, to retain the color, put it in moderate sun, which is like 2 to 4 hours of sunlight. And then, of course, the variegated ones, like the ones with the yellow and the creams and the white on it, you want to give those more sun to help keep the variegation on the leaves, on the foliage. These plants mature within 4 to 8 years, but they will continue to grow for many years down the line. So they'll get their roots well established within the year, overwintering and then into the spring. These plants will next year be much bigger for you. Especially when you, of course, just planting them like we did in this video. Just give them a year and they'll be nice and pretty, bigger next year. They're going to grow and get established through the growing season, but next spring, when they're coming back, they're going to be much bigger. Okay? You want to fertilize your plants early spring with the all-purpose type of fertilizer, then give them a second dose during the summer. Not needed for the second dose, but if you want to keep them fed, go ahead and do that. Most pests that you have to really worry about with these are slugs, but you can put some sand around the area because slugs don't like sand. Cayenne pepper. You can find an organic spray for them. Just something will work to get rid of them. Or you can pick them. If you can find the slug, pick it out and take it. But yeah. Alright guys, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and come back and see me as always. Bye.